Yeah, we got Ice Poseidon on the show. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Yeah, pretty
Good.
good.
Ice. First of all, I'm psyched to have you on the show. I've watched your streams here and there, mostly not because, look, I'm not your demo. I bet you don't have a lot of 44-year-old dads watching you, right? And I think that
Probably
bleeds.
not.
So I watch it, but mostly I just want to know, like, what the flip is the phenomenon going on here, right? You've got tons of people watching you. You can't sit down at a restaurant without, like, the fire department showing up. Like, I want to know, one, like, what's the magic? And two, how the magic has, like, impacted who you are. Like,
Well, I mean, live streaming in general is pretty like I don't know, it's pretty interesting because it's all live and viewers can be a part of it. I mean, calling the fire department is like it's like a bad thing that sometimes they do, but it's like just one of the examples that people can be involved in like a negative or positive way depending on what it is. And I mean, I don't know. I don't really think there's too much magic behind it. I just think people like to be involved. And
why'd they pick you? Like,
well, I mean,
there
there's
are
not that many.
Oh, go ahead.
There's not that many IRL streamers out there. So I mean, I don't know. And I've been doing it for so long. People are just there. You know what I mean? People just have been with me for a long period of time.
I feel like part of this show.
Forgive
is
me,
the
I'm
fact
not.
that
I'm not up to like up to speed with everything that you do. So the way your viewers often get involved is, like some streamers, like they'll pay $1 for you. They'll like order the police or fire department to wherever you are, and that's just good natured participation. Yeah.
I mean, I'd hope some people wouldn't, but yeah, sometimes it does happen, unfortunately. But for the most part, people prefer to, do other things to be positive.
What I like
good.
is that you've sort of embraced that part of the community. You've recognized that like this is kind of part of the demographic that's watching. They like to get rowdy. I'm gonna get swatted occasionally. The cops are gonna show up at Best Buy. Like just embrace this, because if you try, it's like fighting the current. You're never gonna win, but if you just ride with it, you can go on a nice fun trip.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, when you go live, like there's not really much you can do to prevent something like that. You can only do so much, so you just kind of have to deal with it until it just gets handled, another way. So, but for the most part, it's not that much of a problem. And the thing that's a main problem are people just calling everywhere I go, but that's impossible to stop. I don't care what people say.
Kyle says you roll with it. Is that true, or is it like a real point of stress in your actual life when these people like fuck with you all the time?
The calling I just roll with, because there's literally nothing you can do about that, and it's never gonna stop. But with the swatting and stuff, like that creates like just tons of unnecessary stress in my life. So I did what I had to do to take care of that, and I haven't been swatted in like 2 months now. It's been great. I think we took care of the situation.
I was one of the old school
Good run.
swatters. Like I got swatted. The police started calling in advance. They'd be like, "What are you really killing your wife?" I'm like, "No." They had my cell phone and stuff. They almost killed me. Like I didn't know it. Well, did you say what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is before swatting was as popular as it is now. Call it like 2012 or 13, something like that. And I have it in my head that a lot of SWAT teams now know about the practice. But back in the day, if they heard that, some guy had just killed his wife and his son, and here's his daughter on the phone hiding under the bed, they just believed that shit. So
I believed it when I heard it about Woody.
yeah, well,
to be fair. Yeah.
To be fair.
note to self: no character witnesses from the show. And so our regular listeners know this, but basically what happened is I just finished a stream or something, and my wife was like, "There's people hiding in the yard that like we don't know what the scoop is." And I look outside, and just for like an instant, a flashlight turns on and off. We had this big oak tree in our front yard, and they were hiding behind it. It turns out what had happened is the SWAT team was hiding in bushes and behind trees and things like that for 90 minutes, right? Hour and a half. They're out there casing my house, just scoping it to see what's going on.
If you had been murdering your wife and children, they'd be in little
Long
bits
dead.
in the bathtub.
Yes.
What the fuck were they doing?
You'd have already eaten Kyle's liver. It's over.
I heard two versions of this. When I spoke to them personally, they said, you know what, we were watching your house and, everything was like kind of like someone went to the bathroom, went back to bed, and they're like, that's not normal hostage behavior. So we pretty much knew it wasn't real. But I heard them interviewed by like NPR or something like that. And there was like the Apex SWAT team on this radio interview, and the guy's like, we were going to kill someone that night, and it's really weird, like driving into work knowing that you'll most likely kill someone. It was stressful on me, on you, bitch.
What?
So anyway, they knock on the door or bang on the door or something like that. They don't identify themselves, so I don't know what's up. And I grab a gun, I think it was a shotgun, and I head down the front steps, and they're like, open up. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And then they said they were the police or the SWAT team or something. So I put the gun down and I opened it. It turns out what happened was next to our door, there were two glass like windows. Like it's a normal front door, right? And they could see up my stairs and they saw my wife who was supposed to be dead. And that diffused the situation. They knew the whole thing was a hoax when they saw my wife alive. And, from my standpoint, I could see him.
But how funny would that have been if, like, from up there, Jackie just yelled, like, help! Like, help!
Like
someone would have died.
A big article
Kids are
about
up here.
Somebody help!
From my perspective, I could see him wearing those black, like, riot gear helmets, and it said, like, Apex Police or something on the forehead. So that's how I knew that they were. I thought they were banditos hiding in my bushes and behind my trees and stuff, as you might guess.
The cartel finally tracked me down.
Yeah.
What?
So anyway, if that glass wasn't there so that we could like identify each other, there might have been a shootout because of the SWAT
Walter
team.
White.
Yeah, that would have been horrible if you opened the door and you pulled a gun on them. You might have actually died.
Yeah.
Right, for real. It's kind of funny, and I tell it as a story, but in real life, like someone could have died because of that SWAT guy. Because of the guy that pretended to get the SWAT team at my house. So anyway, yeah. And to hear when they talked to me about it, they were chill and they acted like they knew the whole time. When I heard them interviewed on the radio, that was not the story. It changed 180 degrees. Yeah. So
Well, they're not going to tell you, like, I'm going to kill you.
Holy shit, you almost just died there, buddy. Like, they're not gonna say that. Like,
they didn't cover that.
What was the worst, I guess, swatting or police or a firefighter story that's ever happened to you, Ice?
I mean, that was pretty bad what Woody said. I think the worst was I was in a car and like 30 cops just pull up out of nowhere and there's like a crowd of like 100 people on the sidewalk here on the left and right side. And they just like 30 cops just come out of their cars. They pull shotguns and there's like helicopters flying over. And I'm just like, I had like shotguns pointed at me and in the car and they, tell me to get out, have my hands up, and I walk backwards.
Are you wearing a GoPro on your head at this point?
I was holding a really big contraption. I had my video encoder like taped and wrapped to like a selfie stick, and it just looked like a giant bomb. It was just this wires everywhere. It just looked really bad. So thank God the call was like that I had a knife instead of a bomb because I might have actually been shot. But I was more embarrassed at the hundreds of people like staring off the sidewalk than me getting a gun pointed at me because they were interviewed by the news and these people were like, oh, this guy looks like a criminal or, some shit. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
come on, I see it.
I saw when you got taken off the plane. Whenever you got taken off the plane and they're interviewing the people who were on the plane, they're like, yeah, he was very suspicious looking. He had some sort of a camera. And I'm like, if I'm watching it, I'm like, come on. I'm not suspicious looking. Like, come on. I'm the right skin tone and everything. It's clearly just a camera.
Come on, ISIS got a little bit of Al Qaeda in him, right? Like he's maybe one quarter ISIS.
5%
He's
Middle
on the
East.
other side, opposite side.
So I mean, if I was a live streamer and I was just like full, like I'm just straight from like Dubai or something, I might be dead right now. I might actually be dead. But
Yeah.
But if you were a live streamer from Dubai, you may have actually had a bomb.
If
yeah,
instead of-
right. That would be a good like case for I don't know, like what's it like protest or something? I don't know.
Yeah, if instead of Ice Poseidon you were Ice Ahmed, you wouldn't have lasted this fucking long, my friend. Like that Jewish heritage is keeping you alive every day.
Yeah, there's just that joke in my community when this was like rampant a few months ago. And it's like, thank God he's white, or otherwise he'd be dead. Like it's, and I mean, this is kind of funny. I kind of agree on that too. If I was like, really, like people can just be I don't know. The police can just be biased.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're one shade darker, you're a dead man. Forget being black or Middle Eastern. Just one shade darker. You get I mean, I saw you in Florida the other day. I'd stay out of the sun if I were you.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to get tabbed. I like being white.
The real reason that I like my first exposure to you was from Reddit. Like it seems like every 2 or 3 days, something from your subreddit will hit the front page, and that was where I was like, I have to see this ice thing that's going on.